Good morning guys, welcome to my weekly Flosstube. It's Thursday. I was on an early day and all the kids were here yesterday, so I didn't get to film on the Wednesday like I like to. It is October 23rd here, and you can see the wisteria is now very yellow, so we're getting well into autumn now, and it has started dropping its leaves, so we're getting there into autumn here in the UK. I'm up in North Cumbria, so it's a bit cold. A little chilly in the conservatory this morning, but never mind. I have my trusty cup. This is currently my favourite cup, which I usually like a china cup, but I'm currently rocking one of these, which I love. It's just it's bigger because we have a hot water dispenser now. You press the button and it dispenses 1 cup of hot water, which was a lot better than Richard trying to pour a kettle. He puts his cup under, he presses the button and it gives him 1 cup of water. The RNAB lady gave him a little sensor to put on the side of his cup so he knows when to stop pouring, but which goes off and does a little alarm so you know you're at your level. But we found that was still, he was very trembly when he came out of hospital as well, you know, very weak, so we found the hot water button. Anyway, 2 shots of coffee, a dose of hot water, and then I still need like 1.5 inches of semi-skimmed milk in my coffee, so that's why that cup's a good cup for me. Totally beside the point. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is stitching, cross stitching. I think I'm averaging about the same now, week on week, 4,315, which is pretty good really, but obviously it's about half what I used to stitch, even at the beginning of the year. How on earth did I fit all that in? I have no idea how I was doing everything. I think it's because there was an awful lot that I didn't need to do, that I do need to do now, because I had another pair of eyes in the house. But it is what it is, and I've still done stitching. So I'm just going to get on and show you some stitching. So I only stitched on Haunted Hollow once, and I just did 78 stitches into that, so I'm not even going to give you a last week and this week picture of it. I'm just going to hold it up to show you. I'm just working in 310 at the moment, and all I've done is put 78 stitches just here. That's all. That's the only bit of that I've done, which is the start of the second cat and the second, oh my goodness me, I've got a ball of Nancy fur, oh, that she's left on that. Oh, Sid's on the coffee table. That's actually Sid's brother. That's not Sid. We have his brother, coincidentally, we have his brother who's also 13. He's a bit more of a saggy cloth cat. He's going in the conservatory. Sid is in the conservatory. Not the conservatory, the greenhouse. There's going to be fisticuffs at dawn. You can see it's still really, what's the word? There's a lot of condensation on it, but it's warm and dry. Anyway, that's Sid's brother. They are identical, bar he wears a collar, and their markings are different, but they're from the same litter, which is weird because they came from a town 30 miles away, which is strange that they live in the same street now. Anyway, and always have. So I put in just a few stitches here. It's the start of the second column. We've got a mirror image here to the edge of the piece. I was hoping to get to the edge of the piece before the end of the month. I'm not 100% sure. I'm even going to probably put it back in the Q-snap now before the end of the month. We'll see, maybe I will. It's nice easy black stitching on 16 count Ada, which is lovely. But I've got too much else going on, I think, now to do any more on it, because I'm kind of focusing on getting the whip go, getting to my numbers on whip go, even though my numbers have halved. Just getting to them is key now for me. But I'll show you my treasure hunt bookshelf first. This is my forever piece. It's bumping around 36 and a bit % at the moment, and it was only at 34 at the end of last year, so I've not done a great deal this year into it. I used to rattle 12% a year into it, but not lately. Okay, I'm working on a very set square that I've drawn onto my fabric, and I'm working on filling just that in. I've only used 2 different colours this week. I'll show you where it was the last time I filmed, which was Wednesday. So it's had 1 extra day, but that was only 60, I think, stitches last night. And it now looks like this. So I've been working on filling in black, I think around here, and the 814. I know I've put a few strands of 814 in as well. So it's coming along, and that's the corner of my block, and that's the other corner of the block I'm filling in. So it's not the full size of the Q snap, and then it comes down to here. So it's the bottom of the piece up, and there's a brown door. I don't know if this might be the brown door here, because it's circular, so I'm assuming that's probably some of the brown door. And then there's like, I think it's 2 oil lamps or something either side. We'll find them as we stitch them. I know loosely what's in the picture, and that's why I'm stitching on this piece in particular. I did move it. I need to move it that way a bit so I can do this fill in and come down here with the black, but this is too far to the edge, because when I stitch with my phone on my fabric, so the phone currently would cover where I want to stitch here. So I need to move it across so that I can stitch this bit here with my phone. That's just how I stitch with my pattern keeper. All my pattern keepers in my phone, and that's how I roll at the moment. So it's had 635 stitches into it this week, last stitchy week. So, well, he's not come out, so he's obviously settling down for a snooze in there. Flora made a cat bed in the greenhouse. There's blankets and towel, and it's all covered in compost now, so they can live there now. And every now and again I'll give them a shake out and refold them, and the cats can sleep on them in there. If we do put them out at night and shut the cat flap, I like to know they've got somewhere warm and dry they can go if they need to. Sitting under a car looking sad, it's not really fair now, is it? Okay, so I've got my 4 Whip Go projects. I've got 3 of my 4 Whip Go projects here. I didn't stitch on World of Books at all last week. I was going to, but it didn't quite make it into the rotation. What did make it in was Aphrodite, who is my Bella Filipina, which I'm going to try and get finished, hardy har, for Lizzie's 21st birthday. She's currently 19. So here is Aphrodite, Bella Filipina, and I have a full kit up. But I have also now changed up, there's all the threads, but I have changed up the colours of her dress now, and I showed you that last week, that I changed up the colours of her dress, and it looked like this when I showed it to you last week. And it's had Aphrodite 232, so I thought I'd done more actually. I thought I'd done more. It now looks like this, so I'm working on the fabric here, and I've moved my pattern. That was just where my pattern was folded, so I just had this little section. I will flash so you can clearly see that I had that section, but now I've unfolded my pattern, so now I can go. I want to get right to the top of her knee. Yes, her knee's going to go like this, and that's going to be her sitting on the swan, and then she comes up and her head's be here, and then the swan's head will be here. So yeah, so I put in some there, and I think the colours I've picked are good and are working well, and you can clearly see the difference in them. This colour here is extremely close to the fabric colour. It really truly is. 793 looks quite different like that, but when you've got 2 strands out and you're stitching, you can see it's very similar, but it's all encased. It's because it's like the lighter highlight of the fabric, it's all encased in the darker fabric, so I think it's going to look just fine when it's all stitched together. And then there's a little bit of swan here. That was just to the page break. I had totally intended on doing what Adelaide's doing, because somebody else who does a lot of Bella Filipinas does it. I was going to literally stitch 1 page at a time, hence why I have a sharp line. That's how I'd already thought that would be perhaps how I would do it. So it's good to know that that's a good way of doing them, because I agree. So yeah, there's another about 15 stitches up here to the turn of her knee. So I'd like to get that bit done. I think I need to put in another 600 or 700 stitches to reach the 2,500. I think I'm about 1,800 stitches into Aphrodite. I did my books in the other room that I actually keep track of where I am with my whip go. I changed from a 5,000 stitch goal. No, I don't have a stitch goal. This was just stitch. So technically I've met my whip go goal here, but I still want, I'd like to stitch the top of her knee in this month. I'll be to put it away with the top of her knee and change my fabric choices, frogged out all the pink. I'll be totally happy to put that away. I'm going to need to work on that a lot next year. You'll be seeing her a lot next year. The next piece I stitched on, quite a bit actually, Merida, the dodgy Chinese kit, the tapestry market kit. It's 11 count. It's quite tough on the fingers because it's 11 count. You use 3 strands of the poly cotton. That's like CXC, I assume, but even more rickety. But I've put in quite a bit on her this week. She looked, when I did my last video, she looked like this, and this week she looks like this. So I know I filled in all the 939 around the top of her dress and up the side here, and it's probably easier if I show you the back, but I've put in quite a bit of the orangey colours in the hair, both here and here. I've been doing one strand of a different symbol and then a strand or 2 of 939. So it's coming along. I still need to go along the bottom and fill in that to make it complete to the bottom, but it's definitely coming along, and I need to do about another 500. I've got one more really good stitchy session in this, and then I've met the 2,500 stitch goal that I readjusted for my whip go. So good and happy with that. That's coming along. And then the last whip go that I stitched on was Dilemma, and I did a just stitch on this as well. So yes, I've met my goal here, and I'm quite happy with it really. I've done quite a bit. It's actually looking like a frame now as opposed to just looking like a few bits and blobs. It looked like this the last time I filmed, and it looks like this week. So I've come down, the birds I think were to about here. I mean, you've just seen the picture, so I finished off the birds. I've done the little twiddly corner bit here and had to remember to do the point on it that way, because this should be the edge of the pattern and it's not in my pattern because I'm adding an extra piece for the extra squares. And I went all the way across the top here because I wanted to be sure my counting was right, and for ages I thought I was half a stitch out and I couldn't see where I would end up half a stitch out, because you know, I just dragged my needle down in the line and then dragged that needle across and they were half a stitch out, and I was like, this is bonkers. So I thought, right, I have to get to the corner. So I stitched into the corner, but I stitched the pattern, the top piece of that pattern, so that I knew it was right and I wasn't counting it wrong, and it all fits together, it's fine. So this week and to the end of the month, really, I think have we got one more week? We've got 8 days left of the month, so 9 counting today. So that's good. I'll be back before the end of the month. I'd like to get the bottom leg of this piece of pattern done and maybe start this down, because I've got this is the pattern piece. I don't have to adjust anything on this piece of pattern other than the corners here, because as you can see, that's the edge of the pattern. So I'm going to try and start the squirrels. I've got squirrels, fish and whales. Oh well, I need to start them. I'd like to really get on and do these bits and those bits. Paper pattern. I do not have the PDF in my Dropbox. I believe the pattern is saved on my old phone. However, I pulled all the pattern pieces out of my project bag and I have the full pattern, and I have 2 pages of the frame on each, because I did print it out because I knew I'd need to cut and twist and double up bits and bobs. So that's all fine. I will be flipping. I'll be using the squirrels again in a different vertical. So I'll print them out, flip it. I'll flip it and print it out flipped. so I can stitch them back to front, if you see what I mean, so that they're facing this way in one piece and then facing that way in another piece, so they're the same pattern, but because I need to put a lot of extra bits of pattern into it, like I did here. So this is where the pattern ends, and I've added this bit, this bit, and this bit, so I've borrowed them from elsewhere. This corner here, I believe, is the bottom corner. No. Yes, it was meant to be this piece of pattern here. So those will get restitched down here when I get to that bit, which is fine. So yeah, this week I'm going to aim to finish off along here and maybe do a squirrel or two down there. Morning, love. I'm just recording. Are you going to, you're going to sit down there? Okay. That's Richard just up and about. So that's all right. He doesn't need to come and be on camera today. He's going to sit himself down in the living room. Right. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to go and get him settled. I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I just got Richard settled, got him his breakfast and his tablets and everything. So he's happy in the living room there with his cup of tea and his breakfast. Maddie brought us pain au chocolat up from Sainsbury's fresh cooked this morning, and she finished her shift. Which is very lovely of her. She is now retreated to bed, and that's her 3 night shifts done for the week. They're starting to get busy for Christmas. Anyway, so yes, I've done dilemma, and I've shown you, and I've made a plan going forwards. Yeah, I think I was talking about the pattern. I pulled out the project bag, and I have 2 copies of each piece of the frame pattern, and I have a printout of all 16 of the inserts. So if I, for reasons because I'm hopeless, have not got the PDF saved anywhere, I've got a paper copy, and I'm just going to go with that, and that's perfect. And the last thing I'm going to show you is the new start that I've been meaning to start forever, not forever, all this month, and it's the squid thing. Mama Witch X Stitch. I'll put the picture up here. Wish my fabric was this colour. It's not. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sick, but hey ho, colds happen. It's autumn, and I've put in a total of 1,397 stitches into this, and I've still got about 800 or 900 stitches to go. I'd really like to get it done. Anyway, here's where it is, and there's the squid things. So this squid here was basically mostly two colours. I think maybe there's a third colour in the top of his head there. So he came on very quickly. There's a little thing there. The squid thing with the pumpkin on his head came along, and then there's a squid over here which is a little darker, which is why I've not quite done so much of him yet. So that's where that is. So I'm quite happy with that. When I've got this nearly done, I'm going to order 3 oval frames, because there's that one there, and there's this one here, and there's this one here, and that's 3 Halloweeny gifties for my girlies. So I need to get them framed up and sorted out. Yeah, there we go. So I have at least made enough of an effort to actually get going on that, and that's been in my work bag. And I've been doing I was off work on Saturday, so I thought, right, I had a lot of orders to process and post, so I did 100 stitches, 1 crochet square, and then packed some orders until my brain was buzzy, and then I went back and did 100 stitches. And through the day I did about 7, I think in all, with my treasure hunt bookshelf stitches, which were bedtime. I think I was 900ish for the day, so I did quite well. I still have, I think, 5 outstanding orders. They're the bigger orders. I'm getting them together, and they should be in the post Saturday at the latest, and then I'll send out the tracking information for them once I've got them in the system. But all the British ones and quite a few of the smaller internationals, they're all gone. The posting to America, smooth as anything. I just give it to the post office and they do all of it from there. The only thing I didn't realise is at the moment anything over a letter, like literally a piece of paper in an envelope or a birthday card, has to be sent tracked, which is actually a lot of peace of mind to send it tracked. It is just a little bit more extra money, but that's a cop up that that was kind of on me. Anyway, so yeah, we're sorted. I've just got the few bigger orders, which I would have sent a few of them tracked anyway, to be perfectly honest, because they're big enough to be absolutely needing to not be lost. So not that any of them should be lost, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Sorry, my head's a bit thick with a bit of a head cold today. Never mind, it'll be fine. Coffee is the answer. So the only other thing that I've really done this week is crochet tiny squares, which I started doing last week. The tiny square. I went yarn shopping in my loft. The bag is still pretty full. I did go and get some more. I'll set my caveat there. I did go and get some more. My bag is pretty full. And what I've decided to do, what I was going to do was get my 50-ish gram ball of yarn and completely turn it into squares, and then get the next 50-ish gram ball of yarn and turn that into squares. But what I'm actually going to do now, I've decided, is do 10. So that when I've been through all the colours and I've got a big full bag, I can start crocheting them together. Because with me, I'm going to end up with a bag full of squares and 6 balls that I just can't. I've completely topped out with it. I've moved on, and I never quite get it done. I want to get this into a blanket. So if I do 10 of each yarn, I have at least 10 of each yarn. And I went to Hobbycraft. I had a voucher expiring for their own brand Knitcraft yarn, so I bought 8 just baby white double knitting, and it feels fairly nice actually. It's not quite Stylecraft Special DK, not quite, which is this. This is notably softer than this, but I think this will stand up nicely as crochet together. I single crochet my squares together, and then I'll single crochet all the way around the outside, probably put a double and then a treble, which is in the UK a treble is an American double, I think that's how it works. So anyway, I'll do English single, English double and English treble round the outside, and then I'll decide what to do for a border. I'll probably do something as a border, but if I can get it into a blanket. And the idea is if I do, essentially it'll be half the yarn into these little squares, then what I'm wanting to do is just dump them down and arrange them, and only move them if I've got like 8 of these all sitting together. And then I had the idea that I might ombre them and have all the white at the top and go into the pails, and I just thought no, because then I have to have them all finished to do that. Let's do it as a random, chuck them down, see where they fall, and if I've got too many of one type together, I'll then just kind of pick it up and lay them back out again. I really want it to be sort of random, so it's like a hodgepodge. And then, so if I get sort of half of the yarn used, I can at least start crocheting them together. So it's more of a blanket than a bag full of squares. This is my thought. So I've done quite a lot actually. I've timed myself. One of these takes 5 minutes and small change. I timed myself for an hour and I made 11 in an hour, not 12. 12 would have been amazing, but I made 11 in an hour. So I had 11 come out of that hour, and I did change yarn. I ran out of this ball because I was using up some tag ends of something, and then I just put this colour here is the yarn that's in the living room. That ball's in the living room, so that's the one that gets used round the edge of anything that I've run out of. to finish off, there's another one, the mauve as well. That's actually really purple with a different colour, and I just use the old magic knot. There it is. It's fine, it's not going to undo, it's not going to get that much abuse, but there aren't a lot of knots. It's only when I've come to the end of a ball and I've got 2/3 of a square done, I'm not jettisoning that square, I'm finishing it off with something else. So yeah, 11 in the hour, and that was Saturday, which I did quite a lot on Saturday because I've got my other Saturday ones here, and I didn't tag the ends in, which is weird because I usually do it as I go. All the others are finished, but these ones just missed. So I did 5, 6. So I've got, oh, there's the other, see look, I've got 6 here of this ball, but then there's 4 from obviously the day before, so that's them. So there's 10 of them, and then I've got 4. These I think are pure wool. They feel very different. 4, and I've got, so I obviously only had 6.5 of those in the ball left, so that's fine because that ball got used up of this mauve. This is really very purple. There, it's purple, but when I hold it up it looks blue, but it's actually, put it against the teal of my jumper, you can see it's purple. Anyway, so there was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 done on Saturday. I haven't got that in my book, that's all. And then one random one that I've just found on the floor, which is one of the other days. And so far today I've done 3, didn't do any yesterday, just didn't get around to any yesterday. So each day I'm just putting them on a little, for no other reason other than I don't want a whole bag full of, and then I can't get them out easily. So I've got quite, that was like day 1 where I was just checking all the different yarns to see how they went together there. And then this is an early day here. I think this is when I filmed last week when I was doing this white shiny one. Don't know. I have been vlogging a little bit, and there will be a crochet vlog, assuming I actually get it put together at some point, but it's not close to being ready to do. So far we have this many, lots, and then I've got the bundle in the hand there, so I've got, there's easy 100 here, if not a few more. Anyway, I'm enjoying doing little bits of crochet, so I'm gonna keep going. So I've got that many so far, and those that need to have their ends sewn in and put on their string there and put together. So I'm enjoying doing my bits of crochet, and that one needs to go on too. And I've done 3 today. I'm sort of loosely keeping track, but lots. As you can see, I get a bit hyper focused on things. It does happen. But as I say, they take me 5 minutes each. So, and just over, I can't go any faster. I can't get it, I can't knock one out in under 5 minutes. So it's slightly over. But I'm just going to keep on with those because I think that's fun. And we'll see how the bag gets on. The only balls not in here are over there, the white. So if they're white in here, they've got a sparkle in them and they're going to be used, or they're the pearly. I have got, I think, 4 whites in here. Yeah, I think I've got 4 whites in here to use in the blanket. So I'm looking forward to that. I need to go to my fabric shop and get my winter Christmas fabrics as well. Thank you very, very much. Very, very much to people who've bought things from my Ko-fi shop, my Halloweeny things. It makes an unbelievable difference to me. I hope you're liking your things as they're arriving. As I say, I've got a few more orders to process. They're the bigger ones, and they'll be on their way very, very shortly. And I have not got the needle minder of the month sorted, so my Halloween-esque needle minder might not happen this month. Because I haven't done it yet, and I'll need to rethink the way I sell them to my American people, because the minimum postage is going to be around about £10 plus the tariff. So I think it's going to be maybe a quarterly, because then we can justify the postage. If I send 4, then the postage works. So I think it might be quarterly, but we'll think about that. Not now, because I can't fit anything else in my brain at the moment. So I'm just kind of skating on that one at the moment. That's that. I'm trying to think of what else I needed to say. I think that's about it. So going forwards this week, I'm going to stitch on Dilemma. I want to get the knee done on Aphrodite, so I want to get that leg done and maybe do a squirrel on Dilemma. I want to get her knee, up over her knee, done on Aphrodite, and then I'm looking to get the 2,500 stitches completed into Merida. I think I need another 600-ish there, and I'm not sure how many stitches I need to put into Kingdom of Books to reach 2,500, but I'll work that out, and I'll try and get, by the next time I film, I'm hopefully going to have done the stitches onto this, done the stitches into the Merida piece, this, which is actually coming out quite nice. But I mean, it is going to be unbelievably vague with its but because it's such a big picture, which is in silhouette, it should be obvious what it is. And Merida's knee and the bit of Dilemma, just to kind of reach a kind of goal. And by next week we'll be looking at what whip go we've got for November, which is great. And again, as we look at the whip go for November, I'm going to amend my goals down. And I think that's how we do it, because whip goes what we make of it ourselves. And I'm thinking now, because I have money in my whip go tree, and I will get October, November and December's money as well, assuming I adjust my goals and meet them. I'm thinking I might get one kit from Gecko Rouge, and I might get the Lowry stand. I think that's what I'm going to do with my money from my tree. But we'll open the tree when I've finished December. So that's going to be a early January job. So I am going to do that in my end of year whip parade, because I'll need to empty my whip go tree and show you each piece as we've done. So I'm going to do the emptying of the whip go tree, see how I did for the year, and do my end of year whip parade. And then there will be a separate video which will be the year of long dogs, and then I'll obviously load the whip go tree up with, I think each box is going to have one non-long dog in it, with a very sensible goal, which will literally be stitch on this month. It's not going to be do 57,000 stitches in this month. It's going to be stitch on this piece this month. This is your non-long dog for the month kind of thing. So I'll have 2 long dogs, 2 non-long dogs, and I'm going to just choose what this is going to be. 24. It's 24, isn't it? Because 13 is free space, so I'm going to leave 13. 13 actually gets 25 is in 13, I think my 13 box, because I did a 13, I didn't mean to, I was meant to do 12, 14. Yeah, 25 is in number 13, so when 25 gets called, it's number 13. Remind me, because I'll forget. Yeah, so it'll be 2 long dogs to just stitch on as much as I can in the month, and 2 non-long dogs to be my 2 pieces to have out to stitch on as and when I fancy. I'll still be stitching on Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, and I'm going to have a wheel that I will do. I'm thinking of only doing 500 stitches in spinning my wheel, because my stitch count's so much lower now than it was. I think it's going to be sensible to say 500 or 600 stitches and then respin. So it'll be then pull a new long dog, put my stitches into that, put it back, spin, get a different one, put some stitches into that, and that will keep me turning over, which means I'm stitching on all of my long dogs a bit more if the stitch count goal is lower, but then I'll have the 2 ongoing for the month. So that's where I think I'm going to be at for Whip Go next year. It's going to be all long dogs and just one in each box of a non-long dog, just so I've got a little bee Kingdom of Books, and it'll be, oh good, I pull out Kingdom of Books and put some stitches into that this month, and it'll be Aphrodite, and then I'm at that, when Aphrodite gets called, I will really try and put a lot of work into her, because I'll need to, because she's only going to have a year left on her after that. Anyway, I think that's me for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching me. I have not finished my giveaway, so that's rolling. I'm not going to do a giveaway when I can't show you what you could win. So I still haven't done that. I haven't had the sewing machine on this week. I had a lot of Ko-fi things to deal with, to box up and get posted off, and yeah, it's not been a super busy week, but yeah, I'm just a bit. I think I'm a little bit under the weather, but just a little bit, which means nothing because we just carry on. So I'm just going to carry on. Right, I'm going to go and do some stitching, go and sit with Richard, and I will leave for work at 1:10. And that's me for today. Yeah, I've got a late tomorrow. I've got the whole weekend off, so hopefully I'll get some stitching done this weekend, which will be lovely. Right, I will see you. I know I'm off on Thursday, but I think I'm early Wednesday and early Tuesday, so I think it will be Thursday again next week. But I'll see you next week. Bye bye for now.